gentlemen, I'd like to welcome you to the Scoreboard Keepers. You're around here, we don't keep receipts, we keep the score. So if you want to get on the board, make your point. If it makes sense, we'll add it to the board. If it don't, we won't. Scoreboard Keepers.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, welcome, welcome. With great pleasure, from the bottom of my heart, I am so serious. I want to welcome everybody to this is the very first episode of the Scoreboard Keepers, and I am your host, the Ref. And I want to welcome everybody to our platform where, if you listen to the intro, around here, it's self-explanatory. We don't keep receipts. We keep the score. And I don't mean figuratively. I mean literally. We keep the score. If it makes sense, we'll add it to the board. And if it don't, we won't. And we most definitely won't. And I have a panel that will be joining me on future episodes that will be making sure that there is no bias here. We're not limited to any topic. We can talk about anything from sports to your lawnmower to your washer and dryer. If it's a dispute, we urge you to bring it here. Let's talk about it. Let's discuss it. Let's get input from our fans. And when this clock strikes 0, we'll find out who's the winner and who's the loser. If in anything, in all sports, there's always a winner and a loser. That's the competitive nature, and that's what we want to bring here. And we want to bring fun. We want to have a good time, and we want to enjoy ourselves. We want to get to engage with the people. We would like for you to engage with us from your respective events, your games, your tailgates, your parties, your watch parties. We want you all to come and join us and get involved and get on the board. Give us your input and your perspective about anything that we're talking about. We may have a topic or we may just be live. More than likely, when you come here, most times, we will either have a topic already up or we'll take a topic from the panels, from anybody that's joining us from the panel. And we'll put that topic on the board and then we can all discuss it. And as you can see right now, we already have one that's up. And we would like to give a congratulations to the Kansas City Chiefs for winning the AFC Championship, which is not an easy thing to do. Congratulations. If you come out of the AFC, as you can see, it's not an easy thing to do. So we put you on the board, and as you can see, the clock is rolling. You are now on the clock, Kansas City Chiefs. And I want to start off by saying, first of all, that the Kansas City Chiefs have done something the last few years that a lot of teams have not. A lot of teams have not been able to do it. And what do I mean by that? I mean win with less. Yes, win with less. I know that sounds pretty awkward to some because most want as much talent as they possibly can have. But this Kansas City Chiefs team have been doing things the last few years that I don't think a lot of people have been paying attention to. Yes, they have their stars. A few. Of course, they have Patrick Mahomes. Of course, they have Travis Kelce. But beyond that, you'd be hard-pressed to find another quote-unquote superstar. You'd be hard-pressed to find another superstar, another go-getter They're all professionals out there. Don't get me wrong. But impactful, as much as some of these other teams have, you'd be hard pressed to find another one beyond Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes. Isaiah Pacheco is a budding star. He's a budding star. But is he that home run hitter? No, he's not that home run hitter. See, Kansas City Chiefs lost some players in the last couple of years. And they've been trying to kind of like, I don't want to say right the ship, but they've been whatever, it's like next man up with the talent that they've lost. And when I say talent that they've lost and I say home run hitter, I'm talking about somebody like Tyreek Hill. That's who I'm thinking about, and that's who I'm talking about specifically. That's not your run-of-the-mill type of talent. Tyreek Hill left the Kansas City Chiefs for the Miami Dolphins, and Kansas City Chiefs went and won the Super Bowl without him. This is Mr. Fantasy. Everybody wants Tyreek Hill on their fantasy team because he's walking 17 points in fantasy. Average. Can you imagine if he had Tyreek Hill to throw to on his team? It would almost be unfair. That would not even be fair right now if he had Tyreek Hill on his team. And this is what I'm saying when I say that you have to respect what the Kansas City Chiefs are putting down right now. You got to respect that. You may not like them. But you have to respect them because they deserve that kind of respect when you can get to that level and perform with less. They tried to put a Band-Aid on it when they went and got Juju Smith-Schuster. But Juju Smith-Schuster is not, he's not that gun. He's not that home run hitter. He's more like a keep the chains moving, security blanket type of receiver. He was never a big run after the catch type of guy like Tyreek Hill, who could take it to the house and in an instant. In an instant, he can change the dynamics of a game. That's the type of player that you want on your team. Somebody that can actually change the dynamics. Somebody that could take it to the house. He's been playing without that. And for that to be as successful as it is without that type of talent makes you wonder what else is working? What other ingredient is working with that system to make it as successful as it is? Travis Kelce can only do so much. You got young running backs, Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Isaiah Pacheco. You had tough decisions to even make at that position. When Clyde Edwards-Helaire came out of college, he was like, that's your number one gun. He's a starter in this league. And he's going to start. He's going to get all the carries. He's going to take Kansas City to the next level, this, that, and the third. And then all of a sudden, you get this kid coming out of Rutgers University. Splash plays. Oh, he runs hard. Gets in, runs somebody over. Oh, he runs violent runner. Runs with conviction. little bit here and there. And then the next thing you know, you put him in there for a full game and he's making a difference. He's making a difference. Next thing you know, he's in the Super Bowl, running through the Eagles defense like Swiss cheese. Now, all of a sudden, Isaiah Pacheco was on the map. Now, all of a sudden, Isaiah Pacheco was getting the majority of the carries. Now, all of a sudden, Isaiah Pacheco was more impactful because of his style. It works for that team. It really works for that team. When they were able to realize that they could depend on him and they could count on him, and he's not the biggest of men in the world. But obviously, he got the heart of a lion. The way he runs, he's running to deliver some punishment, not take it. He's running to deliver. He's going to deliver something to you. And then I'm talking about he's going to deliver it. And when I look around and I look for somebody else, I look on the outsides and I see Rashee Rice, and Mecole Hardman, Marquez Valdez-Scantling. And I'm saying, like, wow, he really is making this thing work with less talent. He doesn't have a $100 million receiver on his team like the Philadelphia Eagles do. The Philadelphia Eagles have a $100 million receiver, and they're watching the game like we are. I've said this so many times. I've said this so many different times, and I believe this with all my heart. You cannot buy a championship. You can buy a good team. You can buy a good team. But can you buy a championship? Is that possible? Is it possible to buy a championship? I don't think it is, because I think that the recipe requires too many different ingredients in order for you to get to that level. One of them is respect. Another is trust, sprinkled with a lot of talent. Oh, and we don't mind you being a little bit smart either. You put all that together with a good GM and a good head coach, and you end up being where Kansas City has been a few times, and a few other franchises have been a few times. But when that chemistry and that mixture and that recipe is not there, you end up having a situation like the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys have a situation going on down there that I just can't really put my finger on. I just know this, that the one common denominator down there is that the owner seems to be the one always purchasing the groceries, not the coach. Now, I know we don't make it a habit of going in there into our jobs, into our professions, and telling our boss that there's something there that I don't want to do or something there that I don't like. Yeah, there are some bold people out here that may do that. But I don't think any of us go to work and say, I don't want to do that right there. So I wouldn't expect Mike McCarthy to be able to walk into a room and tell Jerry Jones, hey, Dak's not my guy. He may be your guy, but he ain't my guy. But since you got him, I'm going to work with him because, I need my job. Mike McCarthy's been around some talented players at that position. And he may look at Dak Prescott and know deep down inside that this is not my guy. But I'm not going to walk up there in that press box and tell that man up there that this is not my guy. Because he may tell me, well, no, you're not my guy. So this is why I'm saying you can look around the league right now and you can tell with relationships on who's going to be successful and who not. This is why today I give my game ball to one Andy Reid. I look at everything and I notice that there's one common denominator when it comes to this Kansas City Chiefs team. And it happens to be the coach. And this is why I said that I made it a conscious effort to watch this game in a schematic format, the down and distances, the calls, the lineups, the defer of the ball, even when they won the toss. Kansas City won the coin toss and deferred to Lamar. Brung Lamar out on the field, shut him down, got the ball back, went right down the field and scored. The coaching duel was on. These coaches have history. It was a great time to watch a football game where not only are the players going at it, but so were the coaches. And I was enjoying every second of it. I was enjoying every second of that game from every play calling. You saw the changes going on Harbaugh's defense. You saw the changes going on Andy Reid's offense. And vice versa. I saw Harbaugh over there having a hard time figuring out that Andy Reid didn't show him everything. He didn't teach him everything. He taught him a lot, but he didn't teach him everything. Because Lamar Jackson was confused the entire game. And so was their defense. The defense didn't know what was going on. Andy Reid's lineups, his sets. I saw the man calling plays, the same play, out of different formations. This is why Andy Reid gets my game ball today. This is why Andy Reid and the Kansas City Chiefs are on the board right now. Because they seem to be operating at a higher frequency than some of these other franchises around the league. They're operating at a higher frequency right now. They're doing things that other people are not doing. Andy Reid happens to be the one common denominator here. This man has won 100 games with 2 different franchises. That's impressive. And not only that, he has been to the big game before with another franchise. He's been there before. He's taken another franchise to the big game. He didn't win it, but he went there. He went there. It's not by accident that he keeps showing up in these big games. At some point, you got to look around and say, hey, this man knows what he's doing. And I don't think that anyone doubts that right now. I look around and I see everybody is dialed in. Everybody has bought in to the Kansas City Chiefs way on that team. You don't see that in some other franchises. This is why I keep saying that the recipe for success is on, it looks exactly like what they're doing. You got a good GM that allows his coach to coach. You got a coach that gets along with his GM, and he also gets along with his quarterback. His quarterback trusts in the coach. Then the players on the team see that the quarterback trusts in the coach trusts in the quarterback, and he operates with them at a high level. Then they all buy in because they know that the system is working. It's a trickle down effect. And then, if you go to the Super Bowl and you win without a player like Tyreek Hill, oh man, I'm all in. So it's just not the talent, it's also the chemistry. The chemistry goes a long way. You don't see Patrick Mahomes sitting on the end of the bench with the receivers screaming on him. You don't see Travis Kelsey coming over there looking at him side eye and saying things to him during the game. You don't see that. And I believe if you was to do something like that to Patrick Mahomes, you may be on the first thing smoking out of there. You have to show your quarterback respect. You got to believe in your quarterback. If he asks for something or he says something, then you got to take that into consideration. Because I believe, like down in Dallas, I believe that Zeke Elliott was to Dak like Gronk was to Tom Brady. I believe that Zeke Elliott was Dak's snuggle blanket. Yeah, I believe that he was Dak's Charlie Brown blanket. Them two guys, he may be used to having Zeke in the back. They may have had something going on between during the course of the week. They may have been calling plays. Dak may have been his cadence maybe, have something to do with Zeke a little bit. He may know that Zeke's going to pick up this block on his right hand side. He's going to pick up that linebacker blitz. He may have been comfortable with Zeke Elliott back there. So if Dallas was really about winning and you want everybody to be all in, you got to have everybody all in. I don't think Dak was a supporter of Zeke dismissal. Everybody has to be in. Everybody has to believe. They started something together. Zeke and Dak started something together and never will have a chance to complete it. I don't think they will. I don't think they will. I think too many things are going on down there now. I think they're trying to, there's no telling what's going to come out of Dallas right now. But the blueprint is in Kansas City. And then when you look around the league, as you're looking around the league, right, you start to see these little things popping up that look similar. That's breeding success. Oh, yeah. Down there in the frozen tundra. Green Bay, Jordan Love. Oh, he was showing them some love, wasn't he? He showed Dallas all types of love. He loved them. He loved on them. That was the first time I seen him play this year. And I was blown away by his poise. I was blown away by his maturity. I was blown away by his control. I was definitely blown away with his strength. He was throwing that thing like a laser off his back foot, hitting people in stride. It takes trust for an organization to tell Aaron Rodgers, "See you later. We're gonna go with the young Thundercat." Yeah, the young Thundercat. We're gonna go with the young Thundercat here, Mr. Love. And by the way things look, if they continue going with him and showing him the trust and him showing believing in his coach and all the way, well, we already know that management trust him because they got rid of Aaron Rodgers. So he has nothing in his way to impede his success. Nothing's in his way. It's all there for the taking for him. The sky's the limit. Where else do we see that? Where else do we see this recipe? Oh, down there in Houston. Yeah. D'Amico Ryans. Mr. Defense. Mr. Defense. D'Amico Ryans down there got them boys playing spirited. And he got this young Thundercat. Another one by the name of C.J. Stroud. Now, we're seeing the same thing in Houston that we're seeing in Green Bay. The organization's on a high. They like their coach. The coach loves his quarterback. And I'm leaning toward believing that the quarterback loves his coach. They're happy to have him there. They've seen the type of success that they can have with him. And all you got to do is keep everybody together. You don't go around firing the coaches just because. You go around firing the coaches for things that's not even in their control. Some of these things are not even in their control. You know what firing your coaches do? When I think about a coaching carousel and I think about uh great coaches being released, the 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 one franchise that comes to mind is the Philadelphia Eagles. Why do I say that? Because Andy Reid was with the Philadelphia Eagles and took the Philadelphia Eagles to the Super Bowl. And for some reason, oh, mind you, Andy Reid, as a Philadelphia Eagles coach, never lost to the Kansas City Chiefs. Never. You can't make this. You can't make this stuff up. You just can't make it up. Andy Reid tenure in Philadelphia as a Philadelphia Eagles coach was undefeated against the Kansas City Chiefs. That's one wild stat. That's a crazy stat. And then that franchise decides to be smarter than the recipe. You want to be smarter than the recipe for success, and you want to get rid of a Hall of Fame coach? You get rid of a Hall of Fame coach. I don't think that they should have ever done that. I'm willing to believe that Patrick Mahomes may have been in Philadelphia right now if they would have kept that man there. But the reason that I say that is because not only are you getting rid of a Hall of Fame coach, but it's all of his offspring. Yeah, his it's all of the other coaches that come from his tutelage or from his staff or that they learned this game of football together. Who was on his staff? Who was on Andy Reid's staff or that was around him or to have anything that has to do with Andy Reid or being under Andy Reid's tree. You ever heard of Sean McDermott? Yes. The Buffalo Bills coach. The Buffalo Bills head coach. The same coach that he beat last week? Yeah. That guy. That guy. That's amazing. That guy was under you, and he's doing a great job in Buffalo. He just can't beat the sensei. John Harbaugh. You ever heard of that guy? Yeah. The guy that he just beat for the AFC Championship. Yep. Yep. This is why these last two games on the road are so damn impressive. Yeah, because these guys know your playbook. They know your tendencies. They know the things that you like to do. They know the things that you may favor. So when you go back and watch these games, some of these last two games, the last 2 weeks with the Kansas City Chiefs, schematically, it may be the best coaching duels that we've seen in a long time. That's why it was so much action going on in these games. It was a battle going on with that preparation. McDermott against Reed and Harbaugh against Reed. Oh man. And guess what? John Harbaugh was sitting back watching that game. Oh yeah, they was waiting in the wings at home, comfortable. Oh yeah, their feet was up. Oh, the feet was up. While them boys was trying to thaw out up there in Buffalo. They had to come back and thaw out and get ready for that game. Wet on grass. To have your team 1 week later ready to go and play a hot team in hostile territory that had a first round bye and you beat them. Just think about that. They had a they had a they had a the Baltimore Ravens had a first round bye. Then they were able to dismiss the Houston Texans at home and then wait on the winner of Kansas City and Buffalo Bills. I just think that that's, you know, I think that that one common denominator of having your team prepared to play, I think that has something to do with the coach. Yeah. Yeah. That's why Andy Reid's getting the game ball. He's getting the scoreboard keepers game ball today. Yeah. That's why his franchise, his team is on the board right now. Yeah. And we're keeping the final score today, which was 17-10. So it wasn't even a whole lot going on in that game as far as putting up points. So we know it was a duel. We know it was a duel. You just gotta watch it. If you were watching that game and you wasn't watching it schematically, you missed out on a lot. And this is the game inside of the game that a lot of people don't even get to appreciate. You don't even get to appreciate that. Man, them defensive backs for Kansas City, Elmer's glue. Elmer's glue. Man, Elmer's glue. Man, we need a sponsor. I'm gonna put you right there on that table. Elmer's Glue, we're gonna put you right there on that sponsor table. Give us a shout out. Not only do you have this coach being, at the top of his game, but he has all these other people that were underneath of him that are flourishing in the sport. Matt Nagy with the Bears. You ever heard of Ron Rivera? Yeah, he was with the Washington Commanders. That's now with the Carolina Panthers. How about this guy? He was just active a couple of weeks ago. Todd Bowles for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They almost did it. They made a quick exit for the Eagles. They had that home game down there where we were all sure that the Philadelphia Eagles was going to go down there, tush push and all, and put the Tampa Bay Buccaneers out of their misery. It didn't happen. They went right down there and ran into a buzzsaw. And then they went to Detroit and just ran into a hot team. But what a great game. They ran into a hot team. Detroit was hot. They're a tough team to beat in that dome. And, the crowd was rocking. So, yeah. Here's a very interesting one. One Pat Schumer. You know where he is right now? He may not be there long, but I got a feeling he's going to win a couple of national championships, and then he'll decide to come back to the league after he do that. Pat Schumer is the offensive coordinator for the Colorado Buffaloes right now. Yeah. Prime time. I got to get me some of them shades too. Yeah. Send me some of them shades, Prime. Yeah. Listen, we're talking about top tier coaches here. These are not regular coaches. These guys are like head coaches. They're head coaches. We're not talking about coordinators. These guys are have been head coaches. So they're not settling for, I'm not saying they're settling for a less position, because anywhere in there, if you're part of a team, you're contributing. It doesn't matter where you are as long as everybody's there to win. But these guys are at the top of their game. They're at the top of their game. And this is why I say that Andy Reid is the type of guy that you just don't want to let go. How about Leslie Frazier? He was the defensive coordinator for the Bills. Brad Childress, remember him? He was he was with the Bears for a little stint with the Bears. He was with the Eagles, I believe, for most of his career, and then he was the head coach for the Minnesota Vikings. Remember that? Yeah. But here, I saved the best for last. The reason I say that is because this man happens to be with them right now. Steve Spagnuolo, the defensive coordinator. Yep. That guy that was causing havoc for Lamar Jackson. The guy that was causing havoc for Lamar Jackson has a history with Andy Reid. Yes. That's why you can defer the coin toss. Because you have trust in that man that that's down there with them other headsets on his head. And when they're walking up and down the sidelines, you would think that they was listening to opera or jazz music. It looked like everybody is just enjoying themselves, like they playing a violin, like they listening to sweet music. When that defense is on the field, you look at Andy Reid's face. He looked like he just like floating down the sidelines. Because I know he can hear everything that's going on. He has trust, and he was watching that man work. And guess what? You can't tell me that Andy Reid don't got a safe somewhere with Jim Johnson's playbook. Oh, yeah. That man from the Philadelphia Eagles, Jim Johnson. Whoa. Oh, he specialized in bringing the pain to your quarterback. Oh, what? If you don't know, do your research. Do your research on who Jim Johnson was, if you don't know who that is. Oh, man. He was dialing it up. You can't tell me that Andy Reid didn't go in that safe and say, hey, Stevie boy, let me show you something. Look at this right here. Yeah, this is what old Jimmy used to do. Yup. Yup. Quarterbacks running out the stadium trying to get away. Because he dialing up so much pressure. And damn it, they had Lamar Jackson running east and west. I don't know where he was going. But damn it, North and South Pole ain't seen him yet. No, North and South Pole ain't seen him yet. He's still running east and west. NBA, wasn't he? The NBA team. He was going to the NBA All-Star game. I don't know what coach he was playing for. But just imagine the history that's between the coaches that he has with him and the trust, the level of trust that he has with those coaches that's surrounding him right now, and how that resonates throughout the team. Now, I'm not here to bash the Philadelphia Eagles, but I'm just saying that if damn it, if I was a GM of any franchise, I want somebody to give me a list of any fired coaches from the Philadelphia Eagles that has any connection to Andy Reid. I need that yearly. I need any available coaches that have been let go, released, or anything from the Philadelphia Eagles that has any connection to Andy Reid tree. I mean, this is just for me, that would be common knowledge if I'm looking to have some type of success and I'm having somebody that has the experience and that we're going to build a dynasty. I'm starting there. Because when you don't have those things in place, you're looking at a absolute disaster. Look at the coaches and the quarterback relationships that are not successful. Denver Broncos. I'm sorry, did that slip out? What? That's Russell Wilson, Sean Payton. You can't talk to that man like that. You cannot talk to that man like that on national television, that close. You was 2 inches away from his face, talking sideways. That's Russell Wilson. We've seen him in the Super Bowl before. We don't care what nobody else is saying about him outside. He's still playing. We don't care. That's Russell Wilson. We, from the outside, I can say, for me personally, I was thinking that it would be a little bit more level of respect between those two because of the history that they both have in the NFL. I thought that he would respect Russell Wilson a little more. But you can best believe this. Somebody absolutely has to go because of the level of clout that those two bring to the table. And if they can't coexist, why am I going to believe in this? Listen, when the players saw that coming from the coach, oh, there ain't no way in hell they buying in. They just saw that the coach don't buy in. Oh, he's out of here. He's out of here. You can't have that on a national scale. You just can't have it. We've seen it so often. Look what happens when you don't have your quarterback in place. Pittsburgh Steelers. Ben Roethlisberger was in that city all them years and didn't groom nobody. All he groomed was his own hair. When he left, there was a void. There was nobody there to take an historic franchise back to where it's accustomed to being. And then you find yourself with a Hall of Fame coach that doesn't have his guy. And he wins with less. He wins with less. But once again, the blueprint is in Kansas City. They're setting a precedent for the league. Everybody's trying to find their guy and they're trying to follow the same blueprint, but it's so hard to do. I will go out on a limb and I would say that I believe that Houston Texans made the right choice, and I believe Carolina Panthers made the wrong choice. I believe that CJ Stroud is a one of a kind type of quarterback for the ages. I just believe that. That's just my personal belief. That's just my personal opinion. I just know that when you have this recipe and you put all of these things together, you have a recipe for a Super Bowl. You have a recipe for a Super Bowl. It's just that simple. I believe right now, and I'm not so sure about it because it's a very tough division. Um, I believe that, Lamar Jackson, I believe that the coach believes in him. But we all saw at one point that the organization was hesitant on paying him. I don't know if that was because he was negotiating his own contract or his own deal or whatever. But let me tell you something. If a franchise wanted you and they wanted you to stay and money was of no issue, that long dispute for his contract, it would have never happened. It would have never happened. I believe that contractual issue played a role in their struggles. I believe that plays a role in their struggles because now, once you had to fight so hard for it, came the added pressure, which we know pressure bursts pipes. We know now that the added pressure that comes along with that type of money, all of the sudden, at the snap of a finger, you now are held to nothing less than a Lombardi trophy. You said you were the man. You said you were the man, and now they're holding you accountable for it. They said, okay, we're going to pay you. Now we want the trophy. And I saw that pressure on his shoulders that when anything, when the least thing went wrong, it looked like it all went wrong. I believe that that man got tight under pressure. I think he just started when he saw the least bit of resistance. I think that I think all that stuff came into his head that I have to win this game. I need to win this game. I believe that he couldn't even believe that he was losing. I believe when he saw the Kansas City Chiefs defer and stop him at once again, could this be Andy Reid playing mind games? Who could this have been Andy Reid putting the pressure on Lamar Jackson coming out in front of all of those Baltimore fans and 1, 2, 3 and out and watch and saying, watch, we'll show you how our quarterback does it. Is it possible? It's very possible. I don't put that. Listen, I think Andy Reid is capable of dialing that type of preparation up. I believe it. I believe he's very capable of putting that type of pressure on Lamar Jackson because he's seen it before. He's seen that type of pressure before in Philadelphia with Donovan McNabb. The pressure that was on Donovan McNabb's shoulders. The rumors about him throwing up during the game. We know that that type of pressure can be, I mean, it could be too big in the moment. It could be too big in the moment. Once again, this is why Andy Reid gets the Scoreboard Keepers game ball today. Because this is the game within the game. And I was watching it. And I was paying close attention to what was going on. I also saw him trying to slip Noah Gray in there too. Man, people better not look. I'd be looking, if I got to prepare for that team, I'm preparing for everybody. As hard as it may be, you got to prepare for everybody. You can't just take one thing away from that team and expect success. It's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. And this is why I say that the recipe for success in the National Football League, from what I've seen, has to be from the top and trickle down. If it trickles down into your locker room and everybody wants to buy in. You have players wanting to come play for you. And everybody, and it just rubs off. It becomes contagious. That type of success becomes contagious. And that's why you turn around and you look up, you'll be consistently seeing the same team with this run. You'll see the same team playing at the top of its game each and every year, which is pretty fun to watch, because every year you come back, these teams will have, they have targets on their backs, and you see everybody gunning for them, and then they have to, do whatever it is they got to do to stay on top of the hill. But guess what? You have another coach out there that almost went through a similar situation like Andy Reid did. He hasn't amounted of the success that Andy Reid has yet, but I don't think it's out of the realm that he could possibly be competing for some hardware or some type of success within the next 2 years. I mean, he's already putting up a dogfight down there in Jacksonville. and that would be one Doug Peterson. Doug Peterson. He took the Philadelphia Eagles to the Super Bowl. He took them to the Super Bowl. And guess what? He won with Nick Foles. He won the Super Bowl with Nick Foles against, guess who? That's right, Tom Terrific. Yup. Yup. With the Philly. They beat the New England Patriots. Some people are calling it a miracle. Some people are calling it a miracle. I heard somebody say that that had to be an absolute miracle that he performed in order to win that Super Bowl. That was the first Super Bowl in that franchise's history. That's their first Lombardi. And he was shown the exit. And I'm led to believe that within 2 years, he'll be competing for, you know, some respect. I don't know how far because I know he has to go out and get some of his own groceries also. He hasn't been in Jacksonville that long. But he was a quarterback and he has his quarterback down there. So is he able to do something like that overnight? No, because you have to go down there and assemble all the pieces. You have to assemble all the pieces that we were just discussing, whether it be on the field, or whether it be on your sidelines or upstairs in that coaching box. You have to have it all. But in order for you to have these things, you know, you get the trust just has to be there. And if it's not, you will see failure. I believe that Doug Peterson will take Trevor Lawrence and teach him things that he probably, didn't know coming out of Clemson. He'll show him things. Now he's already uh, a really good quarterback. He's already a really good quarterback. But he needs more pieces down there. Um, on both sides of the ball. On both sides of the ball, they need a few more pieces, and it'll be interesting to see what Doug can do with that team when he brings his own groceries in and is able to cook his own meal. Once again, I can't see Mike McCarthy going upstairs and saying, "Hey Jerry, this is not my guy. I don't want him." I just can't see him doing that. Okay, I can't see him doing that. But I'll tell you this: there's a very similar situation going on that's similar to the Kansas City Chiefs. And they have a very similar type style of play. And where do I see this at? San Francisco 49ers. You can't tell me that Kyle Shanahan and Brock Purdy are not on one accord. And you can best believe, it goes upstairs to the GM also because he played the game before. He loves it. Oh, he absolutely loves it. That man loves success, and he looked like he's all in on Brock Purdy. When you see that, when you see that, you see you just see success everywhere. John Lynch loves Brock Purdy. You can see it. And guess what? You can tell that it's trickled down onto the field. Brandon Ayuk, Debo Samuels, and Kittles, they run their patterns with convictions. And guess what's the tall telltale? That ball is always where it's supposed to be, and those receivers get some of the most yak yards in the NFL. That's yards after the catch. For you guys that don't understand what that meant, that's yards after the catch. That's after you catch the ball, you're able to turn around and do something with it. A little shake here and maybe run down the sideline. You see more of that in San Francisco almost than anywhere else in the league, whether it's Debo Samuels, Brandon Ayuk, or Kittles. And I just think that that's amazing because, you know, it's almost like, it's almost like they call the man Mr. Irrelevant, but somehow he's always sending people home on the long way home with an L. So I no longer think that you can call this man Mr. Irrelevant, and I'm no longer looking at him like this underdog thing. I'm no longer looking at him like this underdog player. He's the real deal. And he needs to be treated as such. You need to prepare for him as such. Other than that, all that quiet, reserved, and the next thing you know, he's taking off with his legs and he running down the field because you didn't think that he was that athletic. Them days are over. Brock Purdy has to be accounted for the foreseeable future. For the foreseeable future, he has to be accounted for because not only does he have a good relationship with his coach, got a good relationship with the GM, and vice versa. It's like harmony going on there. So, and that's where your success comes from. Kansas City Chiefs and Andy Reid, you get my game ball. Not just because Patrick Mahomes was 30 for 39, 241 yards and a touchdown, but because every player and them skill positions had a reception. You made sure that ball got around the field to your players. You put your players in positions to be successful. You made sure everybody got involved. It wasn't just going to one player. Even though Travis Kelce had a monster game. I can appreciate that because most teams won't do that. Most teams won't prepare like that, but you did. And I would like to say once again, congratulations to the Kansas City Chiefs. As you can see, the clock has struck 0. The Kansas City Chiefs was 17. The Baltimore Ravens was 10. And that concludes our broadcast. I would like to thank everybody for coming to the Scoreboard Keepers. I hope you had fun. I suggest everybody to like, share, and subscribe. I look forward to seeing you on the next episode. And I want to conclude this episode by saying something to you, to everybody out there. This podcast, it would not be possible if not for the Most High God. We're God-fearing over here. And I look forward to everybody coming here and hopefully you'll have a great experience here. This is the very first episode. And it was an absolute success. I had fun, and I'm looking forward to a lot more. And I'm going to end this with Matthew chapter 6 and verse 33. But seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. Everybody have a good night. Score.